This guy back. He's asking about his CD. Are you in the States or in the UK?
That's hilarious.
Hey, just shut the mics down for just a second. We're going to go live in a few.
All right.
All right.
Kaoticradio.com is a 24/7 internet radio station.
Very clever.
Find us at www.chaoticradio.com and click listen now. Search for Chaotic Radio and enjoy.
The Black Lung. The Black Lung Show. 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 And starting fucking now.
That's right. You're listening to the Black Lung Show on the world famous chaoticradio.com. I'm your host, Ryan Pena. I'm joined in studio as always by my punk rock and roll brother, Dutchie, the punk rock DJ. Dutchie, man, it is good to be back. I've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Oh, where'd you go, fucker? You can't miss this shit. There ain't nothing more important. Get divorced. Kill the kids. Come on, man.
Well,
what the fuck?
I've been playing a lot. That's a good thing.
With yourself?
Yep. I sure have. So for everybody listening, it's good to be back. It is April 15th. So I wanted to put that out there because next week we're going to replay this exact show. I'm very excited to have a very amazing super group in studio with me today. They've been here before on Dutchie's show. Dutchie's got a beautiful disaster here on Chaotic Radio on Tuesdays from 4 to 6, and then he also does 78 RPM, and I think like 16 other punk shows now. I mean, how many?
Oh, no. All I'm doing, dude, is going live and recording, just so that you can tune in between 9 in the morning and 5 in the evening and hear nothing but fucking punk music. That's what I'm doing.
That's good.
I'm not talking on the shows. I'm just playing music.
Right. Well, anyway, I know you're excited about today too. It's cool. I mean, I've been doing this show for coming up on 3 years now, and I love doing this, man. For everybody listening, I'm a musician. I play in a punk rock and roll band called Something Ferocious. So I've been out doing some shows, networking. That's what you got to do, man. You guys got to get out there. Even when I'm not playing, I got to get out and do some stuff. So we played a couple of weeks ago at the Doll Hut for Max. What did he turn? 40, I think. It was us and DFL and the Narcoleptic Youth and JFA. So we did that, and then we got asked to do another show with JFA at the Mission Tobacco Lounge a week later. But we had just done a show with them, so we hooked up our friends, the Penetrators, with 3 of the cats from the Voodoo Glow Skulls. And then I hooked up a friend of mine's band called the Lipstick Stain. So, Dutchie, I'm going to bring the Lipstick Stain to the studio here. They're a really, really, really good band. And then, where are we at? Last Friday, still kind of hungover.
We've been very lucky. I mean, we bring all these bands in.
Yeah.
There's probably only a couple of bands that I wanted to tell them to fuck off and get out. Because they've been fucking terrible. Boring as fuck. Bad fucking music. But percentages. And guess what? Even the bad bands deserve our support.
That's right. It's all about supporting the scene. And so my band just played last Friday night. So thanks to all the bands that we played with. We got to play with Wimpy Rutherford and the Cryptics. That's Wimpy Rutherford was one of the original members of the Queers back in the 80s. And the Cryptics are another great band. And I brought some of their stuff. So we'll see what... We got 2 hours, man. We're going to talk music. We're going to play music. I got some vinyl from the Cryptics. They're on tour. And something from Wimpy Rutherford, singing with them. They did an all-queer set Friday night. Anyway, I'm going to talk about all the shows and all that stuff coming up in a little bit. But if you want to talk to me or my esteemed guests, our call-in number is area code 909-360-8330. And real quick, Dutchy, I got something for you too, my friend.
Oh, you always got something for me. It's like Christmas every week.
That's right, brother. So if you guys know, if you guys have been listening to Chaotic Radio, either this show or Dutchy's show, you know that a few years ago, or how long ago would your vinyl get fucking stolen? Man?
January of last year.
That's bullshit, man.
They stole about 200 albums of mine.
Can you believe that? That's like stealing someone's fucking children, right?
Yeah.
So today I was out doing my normal thing. You know, most of the time I'm always out at Dr. Strange Records buying some vinyl. Dr. Strange is a sponsor of Chaotic Radio, but today I was at the swap meet, just treasure hunting, right? And I picked up 2 vinyls, one for me and one for you, brother. So,
what did you get me? What'd you get me?
well,
It's like
out.
Christmas.
This was mine. I found an old Chuck Berry record, man. Check that out.
I love it.
Look at that, man. Isn't that cool?
That don't look like Chuck Berry.
Not really. If he did, he probably would have sold more albums.
If that's Chuck Berry, I'd bone Chuck Berry.
There you sure? I'm sure you would. So anyway, I know what you like, my friend. You know, of course, we love playing punk rock here on the show, and I know you do too. But what's your biggest love? And don't worry, it's not a Beach Boy. I'm not going to say it.
Our biggest love is punk and surfing music.
Dick Dale, motherfucker. I found you some Dick Dale.
See, get the fuck out, man. You
Surfer's Choice, Dick Dale's greatest hits, brother. I found that today, for you. So this one's yours, man.
Oh, you're a fucking diamond.
All right. Anyway, and here's another present, dude. We got Professor and the Madman in the studio. I know you're a big fan. You've been really excited. So why don't we cut to the chase and introduce our guests right now. Starting on my left, why don't you introduce yourself to the listening audience? Tell them your name and what you guys play and what you play in the band.
My name is Sean, and I'm a guitarist and singer.
Yeah, I'm Alfie, and I'm a singer and a guitarist, and sometimes a singer too.
It's an interesting concept that you guys do that. I sing in my band. How do you guys do that? Decide when you guys are going to trade off singing duties? Is there
Laziness.
lazy?
Whoever doesn't want to.
You know, as soon as we get tired, then the other one takes over, and then if it's halfway through the song, that's just the way it goes. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Who else is in the band? And do you guys like the term supergroup? I mean, that's been used a lot over the internet. I see that a lot. Or is that kind of pretentious? Whatever.
It's just a band.
All right.
Yeah. Supergroup's cool, but it is used a lot. So it's I don't know if it has quite the same punch as it used to, but it's a compliment, and I'll never say no to a compliment. So
You would use that expression if you weren't in the band and you looked at that band. It's when you're in the band, it's different taking it that way.
right.
But when you look at the band, there's absolutely fucking no question that it is a super fucking group.
Well, thank you, man.
That's the fact. Now, forget who's in the band. What do you actually put out, and can you live up to that that name and what you've done? You've fucking surpassed it. It's amazing fucking music. Simple as that.
It's quite a compliment.
No, thank you, man. I guess we should kind of mention, just going back to the original question. We do have brother Frank Agnew in there for the live group. We also have Mark Tolbert from Doggy Style, and we have Nick Scalzo, who played with Sean and I in the Crichtons. So it's a pretty good resume. There's no doubt about that. So,
But who played on the album?
So on the album, it just gets even better. So, it was Sean and I, and we teamed up with a couple guys you might have heard from the UK, a drummer by the name of Rat Scabies and a bass player by the name of Paul Gray. So it was a real treat to work with them, actually.
All right. Sorry, Dutchy's sitting there doing.
Turn your mic up, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right.
Is that better?
I'm not good at sign language.
No, I know. You got.
That's too fucking loud.
You're good with one finger, but that's about it. That's too loud now?
Yeah, just a bit.
God damn it.
All right.
All right. No, yeah. So back to like that whole supergroup thing, kind of question thing. Like you just said, it's Rat Scabies playing drums. And how did? Well, let me start at the beginning. So, for everybody listening, when we say the term supergroup, right, it's because you guys have all been playing in bands for years and years, and I'm kind of, rocking one of the shirts from one of the bands you guys have been in. Big influence on me, right? and Dutchy and I were talking about this outside. We're both musicians as well, so that's why we love doing this, because we get to interview up and coming bands. We get to interview some of the most famous bands around, and like our heroes, right? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I was in getting my ass kicked in an adolescence pit when in my younger years. But you guys have played in the Adolescents, DI, with Crash Kills 4.
Yeah.
Any other bands I'm forgetting? I mean, just you guys.
Those are the big ones. Yeah,
right.
Those are the big ones. Sean, I guess there's a couple. Mind Over
4.
Yeah.
From Orange County.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Yep. And then before DI, I played in a local band called Almost 21, which started getting a little notoriety before it split up. And then I joined DI and brought John Bosco and John Knight over to DI as well. So they were from that band.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Ratscape is everybody for people that don't know, drummer from the Damned.
Yeah.
And then Paul, I was reading something. He played in Eddie and the Hot Rods.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, isn't that rad?
That is awesome. So how did you guys? Okay, so I think were you doing like Crash Kills 4, and then the Professor and the Madman came up? I mean, how did you guys decide to do this?
So I was playing in Crash Kills 4 back around 2015, and about the same time I was also playing with Sean and the Crichtons. And then, Sean and I just started thinking about doing a new project, something, that would bring back some of the magic of the early punk days. Not only genre-wise a little bit, but also just in terms of the artistic freedom part, the doing something different, because, different becomes normal at some point. And I don't think, I don't want to speak for him, but I don't think either of us really like to stay normal for very long. We like to reach back into our roots, turn it into our own thing, and do something fresh to get people excited. I'm always excited by new things musically.
That's good. It's funny because I was telling before you got in the studio here, I was talking to Sean and Dutchy, and Dutchy and I are like notorious for like not doing our homework on bands because we like being surprised.
Dude, the last time they came in here, I walked in and went, "Fucking hell, guys, what's going on?" I didn't know you were coming in today. And Kat went, "Shut the fuck up. I told you Professor and the Madman were coming." I said, "But I didn't know they were in the fucking band."
Yeah.
She said, "I put their fucking names on the flyer." I'm like, "I don't look at that shit."
That was great. That turned out great. You had a great time.
Well, so I was telling him is that I was thinking, you know what? Maybe we should check this out. Your publicist, Randy, had sent me all the material and stuff. And I apologize, Dutchy. A lot of times when Dutchy's doing a show, I'm still at my normal day job, and so Sundays are like my only day off. That's when I do my show. So I got home and I was like, I'm going to listen to their album first before I actually listen to it live because I like being surprised on the air. But I heard the album and dude, I was blown away. I was outside laughing like a maniac, right? Like a madman. Hey, look at that! Look at that! I'm outside drinking beer, and I got my headphones on. My wife's like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was like, "This fucking album is amazing." And I'm not bullshitting you. Like I said, look, I've been doing this show for 3 years. Without name dropping, but I'm going to. I've interviewed my heroes, CJ Ramone. I've interviewed Cheetah Chrome. We've had guys from the Cadillac Tramps in here. The Briefs were in here. I mean, just
nice.
I get stoked, and a lot of times, bands come in, even the local bands, and we try to help them out. And you hear some of their music, and you're like, it's good. But every once in a while, man, there's just a band that just comes in here that just blows me away. One of the bands I can think of, you can use the term supergroup too, from California, is a band called the Mink Daggers. I don't know if you guys play.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we know them.
They are really, really good. That's one of the albums that I listen to like regularly. After all the shows that I've done here, and your guys' album, "Disintegrate Me." This is the album. And thanks, by the way, for bringing this in and having everybody autograph it. That's really cool. We're gonna put some of this stuff up. Dutchy, we got the YouTube thing going, right?
Yeah, it's going.
All right, so check it out, guys. The new album is called "Disintegrate Me." They brought it in, and I've been listening to this, and whoo. Man, there's a lot to talk about this album. But why don't we do this? Why don't we start just right off the bat by playing some music so you guys can hear it? Because I want my whole goal now is after I heard this album, my whole goal now is to make sure that everybody I fucking know and everyone that's listening to the radio show, all the bands that I play with, my band, I'm like, dude, you guys I'm going to make everybody buy this record and listen to this record. And I'm stoked on it, man. So you guys are listening to chaoticradio.com. Dutch, I want to play the first track. I'll let the guys pick out the next ones if they want to. But this song is fucking bad. This first track is called Nightmare. Professor and the Madman. The album is called Disintegrate Me. This is the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com.
Just my conscience and me to work it out. Just stewing through my closet of foul knowledge. Judgment of my deeds. The accusations put me on my knees. Is it their unconcern with my pleas? Waiting for my soul to be relieved. The ink is clapped as foul indeed. I free myself of the soul that bleeds. The freedom feels like spring, not air. That place will be visible nevermore. My evil deeds have been exposed, but no authority, power in the know. Just my conscience and me to work it out. Just stewing through my cauldron of foul doubts. The ink is black as foul indeed. I free myself of the soul that bleeds. The freedom feels like spring on air. That place will be visited nevermore.
So that was the first track off the new album, Disintegrate Me. The track was called Nightmare.
I've got unmatching socks.
Are we good?
Just about.
I was gonna say there's
But they do match.
I think there's basically I can only think of two words to sum up that song, and that's in this order. Fuck yeah, that's that is when I heard that song, that's what it just made me start laughing. Like, how do I put this the right way? And I always say everything, all fucked up. My wife tells me that shit all the time. When I heard that, that's what made me just smile and be like, this is what I think the punk scene has been missing. That California sound that kind of evaporated in after the 80s. You know what I mean? That the Adolescents, DI, I mean, the Circle Jerks, I mean, just the Southern California had a certain sound to it. The Crowd, I mean, we can go off a bunch of different bands, but I was like, man, that is just authentic as all hell. It's good punk rock. It's amazing. And then, of course, as we get into the rest of the album, then I was blown away because it doesn't go in that same vein. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you throw in a Ramones album, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's the same thing over and over again. But you guys have done something, I don't know, masterful. I mean, I don't know. You're gonna get a lot of compliments today, man. I'm really, really stoked on I'm really stoked on the album. So I think a good way to segue into this, we were talking while we were on air, right? So I've been playing in bands too for a long time. All right, and so it's weird because I grew up listening to a lot of different styles of music. Rock and roll originally. That's when I first started listening to rock and roll. And then I got into heavy metal, like in the 80s. And then when I discovered punk, I mean, that's when it was all over. I was like, oh my God, punk rock, the energy and the feel of it. But then I started listening to all sorts of other stuff because I have an eclectic group of friends. So I would listen to industrial, some gothic and stuff, Your brother, man, holy shit, you know what I mean? We were big Christian Death fans, me and my friends in high school, and when he was in studio here, and I'm sitting across from the legendary Rick Agnew, and I'm looking over, and there's Jatan Damone, and I'm like, what the fuck, holy shit, man,
yeah.
Right? So I mean, everything from the I'd go see the Adolescents, and then I'd go see the Sisters of Mercy, I'd go see Bauhaus, all these different types of music, and what I was gonna say was like, so Friday night, my band was playing. My band's called Something Ferocious, right? And we're playing. My bass player books us this gig, and we're playing at Characters with punk bands. I'm doing it, the air quotations. I'm talking about like the whole fucking, everyone's got patches and spikes and still the mohawks and all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I like it. And I talked to some of the bands. We'll bring some of them on, but everything was just fuck the government, blah, blah, blah. And it was like that every single song, every single band. And my band's sitting there looking at me, and we start turning to each other, and we're like, you think they're going to dig this? And I'm like, probably not. and so I'm talking to the guys from the Cryptics who were backing up Wimpy Rutherford. They're about to do their queer set. And they were asking me, they're like, what do you guys sound like? I'm like, not like these bands. So over the years, with my band, and I'll play something for you later, we've kind of evolved our sound to, I guess you can't really say it's punk. I mean, punk attitude, yeah, but just more rock and roll, and then kind of taking all of our influences into that. And so in your guys' stuff, I can hear just so many different things. Like there's certain tracks I'm listening to, I'm like, fuck, I wonder if they were listening to David Bowie when they wrote this. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I hate doing this kind of stuff, but this is going to be the first time I ask a question because it's suited, right? So if people ask me, Ryan, what are your influences? I'm naming you guys, the Adolescents, DI,
Thank you.
That's the shit that I got into. So you guys were doing that. What were you guys listening to before you started playing? I mean, is it always been punk rock? Because it obviously doesn't sound like it completely on this album.
No, so Rick is 10 years older than me, and so I'm like the baby brother. Frank's in the middle, and as soon as I could walk and talk or hear, I was here. Rick was playing all the cool music for me. So early in the 70s. Kinks, David Bowie, even prog stuff like Genesis, Yes, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, King Crimson. This is all before punk. But there was also Iggy and, bands like that had more of an edge. But the Beatles and the Monkees and the Beach Boys were big in my house when I was very little before punk. So all that stuff made a huge impression on me during my formative years. And I'll let Sean chime in here. He's probably a lot of the same influences as well, but probably a lot of surf stuff too, if I recall.
Yeah, like I'm a huge surf fan. So Dick Dale is probably my favorite guitarist, one of my favorite guitarists.
All right.
So a lot of surf. I love Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Cheap
Yep.
Trick.
Yeah.
Just stuff that had power but was cool. That's those are my influences basically. A lot of Beatles. Love the Beach Boys, Kinks. So it's not really punk rock isn't the influence. The surf music was more the influence for me. And the next heavier thing, from a step up from Dick Dale's guitar was the Dead Kennedys for me.
Yeah.
It was like the same type of sound, reverb, just a little more harsh, and that's how I gravitated into it. So, but the writing wise, it doesn't really come from punk rock, so to speak. Like if we're writing songs, they might be fast, they might be heavy, but there's certainly more Cheap Trick and Alice Cooper sounding to it than there would be, an 80s punk rock record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I got from listening to the album, and it's masterfully done. I mean, it's well produced. The songs are well written. I'm just like, this, like I said, I want everybody to hear this album. I think this is one of the best albums I've heard in my life, and I'm not bullshitting you. Like that's what I'm saying.
Thank you, man.
This is the trick to that is steal the best stuff from the 70s.
It's different from the previous album.
Yes,
It is.
Very, very fucking different.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we got lucky enough to interview you, we were talking Pink Floyd influences.
Yep.
And the progressive rock, and from what I've heard of this album, it's so different. It's gone way back more to the punk side of it. I haven't heard all the album yet.
Yeah. No, you're right on that. In fact, so this is our third album, and every album has a different personality, and that's we didn't contrive it, but it is sort of by design. We have Sean and I write tons and tons of material, and we tend to try to put together an album. We choose the collection of songs to give the album a personality, and so the personalities are very different. I think you'll find the first album to be a little more gothy, a little darker. And, you'll see influences would be things like, the TSOL Dance With Me album, the Damned Black album. Actually, I have to say The Damned is a huge influence for both Sean and I. And you'll see that sort of mid-generation Damned probably on most of our records. And, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we sought out Rat and Paul. I think they're probably the best rhythm section, you could possibly have. And because of the influence, that's also probably the most appropriate rhythm section we could have ever gotten.
When you asked them, did they know who you were? I mean, you go into the fucking Damned. Right. It's the fucking Damned,
They didn't
right?
know who we
right?
were.
So you go and ask them, and they said yes. How the fuck?
Well, how did that come about? How did you guys approach them, and you guys talk about that and say, hey, for this album, it would be perfect to have guys that played in the Damned, how did you guys approach them? And tell us a story. I mean, how did that happen?
Well, Rat and I go back long. No, just kidding. That's totally not true. But, but I'll let Sean. It really is. The clever guy that way. So why don't I let you go for it?
Well, we were a side band we have called the Crichtons. We play a ton of punk rock songs, and we were playing at an ugly Christmas sweater party around Christmas time.
Okay.
And we have Smash It Up in that set. And Rat just happened to be there with a friend of ours, Darren McNamee from Electric Kool-Aid. So we saw him out there and just during an intermission asked him, hey, we're going to do Smash It Up. Do you want to come up and play it with us? He said yes.
What?
And so he came up and played Smash It Up, which was awesome.
Wow.
And after the show, we had asked him. We actually called Darren the next day and said, "Hey, can you put us in touch with Rat? We know he's here for a couple more days. We want to see if he wants to come into the studio with us. We have a song that would be perfect for him to record on." And that he got the number to us, and we called him. He said, "Yeah," met us at Alfie's house because Alf has a home studio, and we recorded a song called "Devil's Bargain," which is on the first record.
Okay.
And he had heard all of the rest of the stuff that we were working on, and just kind of signed on right there and then. So after that, we did the next record with him on drums, and we do file sharing overseas, which means we send the digital tracks over to him. He sends them back, and then we mix them over here. And then for number 3...
Have you ever met him?
What's that? Yes.
I'm just fucking...
Fucking dodgy.
But then we decided to take it a step further for this third one and ask Paul if he would play bass on one song.
Yeah.
Same type of thing happened. He said, "Hey, if there's more stuff like this, I like the tunes." And we ended up getting him on the whole record, most of the record anyway.
Wow.
And that's about it.
So what are the chances of, like, Dutch and myself and everybody else listening, if we come out to a Professor and the Madman show, that maybe those guys, well, I mean, obviously if they're over here,
Yeah.
but you think is there a possibility of that lineup doing a live show?
Not in the States.
No, not in the States?
Possibly over in Europe. We're trying to work something out to play one show over there right now this summer.
God damn it, Dutchy, that's going to be expensive for us.
I got places to stay. You're welcome to join me.
All right, cool.
So-
Hey, there's that then. I got something to look forward to. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, man.
No,
but
no,
yeah,
that's about it, though.
It would be great to see that lineup. So I mean, so that takes me to the my next question about that, because for me, there's certain times when I get to nerd out a lot. You know what I mean? I like I said, I've been playing for 23 years, but there's certain times when I'm just ecstatic to get on a bill and play a show. Right? I was looking at some pictures and something that kind of ties us all together. Dutchy, a couple of years ago, we were playing Becky's birthday party, right? And so Dutchy plays in the Part-Time Punks, and at that particular show, Casey Royer was singing for him, right? And and then my band played, and then they called me up on stage, and I still have the pictures. It's me and Casey, and we're singing Amoeba. And I look back, and I'm like, man, that is fucking really, really cool for me, right? And so, like I was telling you on the show, when I interviewed CJ Ramone and when I interviewed Cheetah Chrome, I mean, those Ramones and the Dead Boys, really huge influences on me. And so I was just fist pumping, kicking the air, like, fuck yeah, this is the shit right here. And I get excited about that when I book certain shows. Like in June, I finally, for the very first time, I had them in studio, but one of my all-time favorite bands is Channel 3. And I get to play with them finally. And I'm stoked on that. Hopefully nothing goes fucking wrong with the goddamn show. But do you guys ever nerd out? I mean, are there still bands where you guys? I mean, did you nerd out when Rat was playing drums? Do you look at each other and just go, "Dude, it's fucking Rat Scabies playing drums with us, dude"?
Yeah, pretty much, man. It was we just when Rat was in the studio, we kept looking at each other like, "Can you believe this shit?" It's like,
Right?
dude, that's Rat Scabies right there. So
Hoping we're not acting like dorks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're trying to keep it cool,
Yeah.
we belong in the room too,
Does it put a lot of pressure on you, or is it just kind of like pump you up, like you're just even more excited?
Pumped, more excited. And, I mean, I'm sure, I think there's some footage of that Crichton show that Sean mentioned when, Rat first played Smash It Up with us. And, and I'm pretty sure I had an ear-to-ear shit-eating grin, the whole time, looking like a complete dork, It made my, that year was good. I checked it off.
That's awesome. So here's this is going to be, kind of a stupid question. Sometimes my band and my wife make fun of me because they always ask me, they're like, "Do you get nervous before you play a show?" And I'm like, yeah, every single time. I don't know. It's kind of like I compare it to like getting into a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Once that first punch is thrown and you feel it, then you're smooth sailing. Well, not smooth sailing from there. I mean, if that makes any fucking sense. But those fucking jitters, right? To go up
Depends
there.
who you're fighting.
Yeah, that's true. So do you guys still get nervous before you guys go on stage at all? I mean, or is it like, would it depend on like on it being a big venue or anything like that?
For me, it doesn't. I actually find bigger venues easy. In fact, I was just talking with some about that last night at the observatory. We did a little thing at the beginning of the Rattlescent set. And I find it easier because the more people there are, it just sort of just becomes a mass. Like, you know, the individuality's gone. But like if I'm playing at a place and there's like 3 people with their arms folded and, you know, really dissecting you, then it gets a little gnarly.
Yeah.
So for, you know, and I don't get that nervous. I get hopped up kind of, you know.
Right.
But it's not like stage fright, nothing like that. It's just like, okay, let's do it. You know, I get adrenaline.
Right.
So thankfully.
I think it's fair to say too. Like the same thing happened to me Friday night when I was getting ready, and I think my drummer looked at me and was like, you know, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "I just want to fucking play." You know what I mean? We were direct support for Wimpy Rutherford. So I mean, I had to stand there and watch, you know, 4 or 5 other bands, which that's not a bad thing. Again, if you guys are listening, dude,
bullshit. The way you said that, you were like, "Fuck those other bands." You shit.
You know what was cool though? You know what was cool is that every once in a while I see something that I don't see ever. Right. So when we had the Dayglow Abortions in here, and finding out the drummer was blind, and I was like, "That's fucking weird." And
and he signs his pictures with the Sharpie with dots.
Yeah,
he signs them in Braille.
Dutchy's always politically correct on this show.
What the fuck? What do you mean? Is blind not a true way of saying things anymore?
No, I'm just fucking saying, man.
Fuck
It's amazing that he could do that, right? And so
he can't see. He doesn't know where the dots are going. So fuck.
You signed your name. That's what he did.
No, he didn't. He put it on a piece of toilet paper. I just told him he was signing the album.
Fucking dodgy. But I saw something new that I hadn't seen at that show. There's a band called Day Drunk, and the singer was in a wheelchair, and he was wheeling it around and rocking out, and he did a great job. And so I invited them. So Dutchy, that's a good band. Very thrash. I guess they call it street punk now. So Dutchy and I have this conversation all the time, and I hate it too on like when you get on Facebook. And you see, there's certain groups, and they're saying like, "Is this band punk? Is this punk?" And all. There's even like a webisode series where they bring bands in. They're asking like, "Is this punk?" Does that shit get fucking boring? You know what I mean? Like I don't think punk rock is anything more than an attitude, right? It's just if you just want to say fuck it, I'm gonna play what I want to play, and if you dig it, you dig it, and if you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? Like Again, not to knock those bands we was playing with, man, but you don't need a fucking mohawk to play punk rock. You know, I love listening to old stuff like X and Eddie and the Hot Rods, Richard Hell and the Voidoids. You know, a lot of the good old stuff, and shit you can understand. You know, it's nice. But anyway, that's just my little spiel on that. I don't want to bore the listening audience with my ramblings. Let's play some more music from the new album Disintegrate Me, gentlemen. Which track would you guys like to play?
Let's play Space Walrus.
Space Walrus. And before we play that, why is it called Space Walrus?
Because it sounds just like I Am the Walrus.
All right.
And Space Oddity.
And Space Oddity.
That's what I was saying about the David Bowie thing.
Exactly right.
All right. So yeah, you're listening to the Black Lung Show live on chaoticradio.com. Once again, here is Professor and the Madman.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Flying high in my machine, made of cheap tin foil sheets, the worst design that I've ever seen. You know I keep my spaceship clean, free from germs and allergens, awaiting this new reality, awaiting this new reality. And as we travel through the atmosphere, we're floating high above the world. Now the coast is set and we don't need anything. No, we don't need anything. At the controls is Captain Speed. To navigate at unreal speeds, nights for the radioactive debris. Alongside a ship sent by the Queen. Advanced design and self-esteem, flying the noise of the new machine. And as we fly above the atmosphere, choking me. Giving you emergency frequency. There's something wrong with Captain Speed. His mask is broken and he's green, and I don't know how to fly this thing. And as we fly across the universe, we made a course change towards the sun. The controls are locked and I can't do anything. No, I can't do anything. And I'm up here. I feel so lonely. I'm up here and I'm not afraid. I'm alone up here, but I don't feel lonely at all. I made my way towards the sun. The spaceship's melting down on me against my race's run.
That was Professor and the Madman. That track was called Space Walrus. Yeah. And I'm going to say that too. Same thing. Fuck yeah. About that track as well. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see as we're having our musician conversations. That's what I love about this show. I always joked about that. Like I hate the boring interviews where you just go in there and they're asking you like, what are your influences? What's next? I mean, the same kind of thing. I love talking music. You know what I mean?
The Beatles and David Bowie, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Amongst millions of others.
Right. You can hear that, right?
There's still a fucking difference between the first track we played and the second track you played.
Exactly.
Right? And that's what blew me away when I was introduced to the band and their music. That you don't know what you're going to fucking get. And I remember one of the questions I asked was, when you play live, how the fuck do you pick what bands you're going to play with or who plays with you because you don't belong in a genre? Or the opposite is you belong in many fucking genres.
That's a good question. That's what we were talking about. I keep going back to that show that I played Friday night. And I was, we were looking at each other like, we got booked on the wrong show. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I like what I do. And hopefully and we won over some of the fans. Some people weren't feeling it too much. But, as long as some people were, and plus if we were having fun, with you guys, I mean, are there shows that you get booked on where people are just, they don't know how to take you, or are there certain bands did you get booked with that you fit right in with?
Not necessarily. I mean, that House of Blues show we played at was a funny one.
Which show was that?
That was just a month ago.
Who'd you play with?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you one of the bands. But everyone in the place was just staring at us like, dude, what the fuck is this? Because the bands that were booked on that were more of like a Korn type band, that detuned, low,
Yeah.
And then we came up there, and they liked us, but it was just one of those things you can tell when you're looking out into the audience. Just like there was a lot of what the fucks, And we packed up and got the hell out of there. So I mean, that was yeah. But we're kind of used to that.
How does that happen, and why does it happen?
Well, I'll tell you, I know exactly.
I know why.
Well, go ahead.
I just wonder if at that level, right, it's pay to play. A lot of it, the other bands, or it's promoters trying to get great bands and good bands, but they don't care about creating a show for the genre of the person that's going to be on the floor, paying the money.
Yeah, that's
one of them.
That's certainly true. I mean, a lot of the promoters that reach out to us, they look at the resume of the band and automatically think of a hardcore punk rock band.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of shows that come across our desk that we just wouldn't do. We're not well suited for it. But with our resumes, you would think we were
absolutely
suited for it. So it's kind of a bizarre thing. Not unlike early punk rock, when it's just there was no real place to play or what bands do you play with? So we're kind of in that rut at the moment, but it doesn't matter. We'll just keep doing it.
Yeah, well, I want to answer this question because I've been thinking about that a lot, especially with, even with my own band. I think personally, and this is my own opinion, is that people are like sheep, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And so they're afraid to make their own decisions, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? They've been like with the whole punk scene, right? Like, if you're a punk, you can only listen to punk, and that band's not punk, so that's not cool. They don't know what cool is, and so it takes bands like Professor and the Madman and shows like with the Black Lung Show and Beautiful Disaster to show you kids what cool is. You know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of cool bands that that if they played now, the kids would look at them, and I had the same thing happen. I was playing in a glam band. We were opening up for the Addicts. And there was kids there with their arms folded looking at me like, what the fuck are they playing? I had the weirdest fucking experience because I was playing the show and we did a cover of the Dead Boys' Sonic Reducer, and the kids didn't know what it was. The next band went on after me and they did a cover of Iron Maiden, and they went ape shit. And I was like, what the fuck? You're at a punk show. Yeah. You don't fucking know the Dead Boys, but you're gonna slam to Iron Maiden. It's what the that's my personal thing. I don't think people can go to a show and appreciate the bands because they're friends, they're surroundings. I think when you get older, you start just developing your own style. There's certain bands that speak to you. So I'll start with this. So for me, one of the last bands that I discovered, which is just fucking phenomenal, and Dutchy and I went to see them live. I'm a big fan of Go-Go Bordello. I think Go-Go Bordello is one of they put on one of the best live shows. It's weird, it's gypsy punk rock, but it's they're their own sound. I don't
think
original.
punk rock should be associated with Go-Go Bordello. I think Go-Go Bordello are their own shit, but we listen to them often. I don't see how they can be put in the punk genre unless you're going to put them in there based on attitude.
Exactly. That's the whole point. But look, like I said,
I love them.
If we did a show today, right, and our bands are playing, and we brought some like old school punk legends like Television, right, the kids would be like, "What the fuck is this?" You know what I mean? But that was still punk rock, And I don't know.
The thing with Go-Go Bordello is anytime they go on stage, if you don't know them, everyone goes, what the fuck is that? I mean, they do. They take you by surprise because you don't know what they're going to do, and
That's
then
right.
you can't not like them.
Right.
But it's difficult. I mean, you guys, like I said, your music is so, it's affected by so many different bands, and that comes out in your writing, and it comes out in your songs. When you tell me the next song to play off of this album, I don't know what I'm going to get. Mm-hmm.
Have you heard it, dude? Have you listened to this album at all?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing any of it right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Now watch. It's crazy. Let's play another one. Let's do that. What do you guys want to? You guys want to pick another track?
Machines? Sure.
There we go. All right, we're gonna play Machines. We're coming up on a break. How long do we got, Dutchy?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Why don't we do this? Why don't we play the track? Tell your fucking friends to call in, ask some questions. We got an amazing band in here. 909-360-8330. We're going to play the track. We're going to go in a commercial, take a break. And
we're going to play this. We're going to come back and talk. We still got 10 minutes. We've got fucking loads of time.
All right. Well, fine then. I thought it was my show, but...
The Dutchy has spoken.
I guess so. Fuck. All right. Go ahead, Dutchy. This is... track 6, it's Machines from the album Disintegrate Me. This is Professor and the Madman. You're listening to The Black Lung Show live on chaoticradio.com. Once again, that was Professor and the Madman. That track was called Machines. Off the new album, Disintegrate Me. I got the CD here. Do you guys have this on vinyl?
You know, we do. The vinyl actually is showing up next week. So
Okay.
we did a pledge, pledge music campaign, and got a lot of bites on it. So we'll be doing a heck of a lot of shipping next week, and we have them for sale. Anyone who likes to collect vinyl and likes his tunes, welcome to buy it. You can they'll be selling it on Amazon and other places, but you can also buy it through our Facebook page or our website, professorandthemadman.com.
Perfect. Are you guys gonna have them over at Dr. Strange Records?
Probably. We're probably going to hit a lot of the local places. We've already talked to people at Burger and stuff like that. So we'll probably and Bill Evans and I go way, way, way back. Black Hole Records. So we'll probably populate the local record stores as well. So they should be available.
So Alfie, when bands put it out on vinyl, are you putting it out on vinyl for record sales, for actual sales of the album, regardless of what format? Or are you doing it for sentimental reasons and the fact that vinyl's made a big comeback? And when you put it out on vinyl, do you sell them? Do bands sell them? Not just you, but every band. Is it worth it?
You know what? It is. Vinyl. People are buying vinyl now. It's not everybody, of course, but there's a pretty hardcore group of people that do buy vinyl. And, one of the complaints we got with our first two albums is that we didn't release it on vinyl. And so a lot of people were saying, oh, if you release it on vinyl, well, we're going to see now if they're going to put their money where their mouth is. But actually, if the Pledge Music campaign is anything to go by, in fact, we had a whole bunch of vinyls that we got signed as well by all four of us, Paul, Rat, Sean, and I, and they're all sold out. So
I was just going to say, put me down.
Yeah.
To buy one of those fuckers.
Yeah, I want one of those too.
Yeah. They sold out, and they sold out pretty quickly. The signed ones for sure. We have some non-signed vinyls as well, but yeah. So I don't know if even if a band was very, very popular, if they would sell millions like
like they
popular bands used to, but certainly, I think there are enough collectors to warrant it. If people are interested in your music, it's definitely worth it. Even I'm listening to vinyl again. I dusted off the old record player and got the old vinyl out. It's kind of cool. It's been so long since I've listened to vinyl that I really do notice a difference. It's not just sonically. It's not an audiophile thing. Right. It's a feel.
I agree with you 100%. I've been collecting records, for years and years, and I read something recently that finally, and yeah, I know we got 2 minutes to break. We're gonna spin some vinyl on the show, and like I was saying, I've been collecting it. I read something online that finally now record sales and CD sales are starting to come back. And what I think, for me personally, what I think is like, okay, so and being a father and having teenage kids. A lot of these kids nowadays, want instant gratification. So they want to download the song and have it on their phone so they can listen to it, and that's cool. And I get that, and that does help us out as far as promotion and stuff goes. But I just remember being a kid, or shit, being an adult and just getting an album like this one that we might spin later from the band I just met, the Cryptics, right? So look at this, man. I mean, they put their time and effort. You've got the artwork, you got it in your hand, you can open it up. Look. It's got all the lyrics, so you don't get that with just a digital download. It's got. I even always read the special thanks. Like who they played. I should look. They're thinking the Freeze. Yeah, that's another band I want to get on the show. Suicidal. All right, cool. But having this, looking at the pictures, looking at the pictures of the band, having something in your hand that you can look at and physically hold and then also when that needle just hits the record, just doesn't it just bring back memories, just happiness, just like this is cool, man.
Yeah.
It's
all
just,
the pops and the hiss and
exactly.
everything. I actually like it. It does add something. It puts you back somewhere else.
Exactly.
Oh man, it takes you to a place.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck.
So one of the things I was going to talk about, and when we're coming up on break, and when we come back, we're going to play this. So check this out, Dutchie. I got something else special because we haven't done the show in a little while. So I was at Doctor Strange, and for the first time ever, what's that?
We've got to go.
We're gonna go.
The timer's going down.
God damn it!
And you know what? Fuck it. It's radio.
I know.
It's professional radio.
What's this win?
Since fucking never.
All right. You're listening to the Black Lung Show live on chaoticradio.com. Our guest in studio, Professor the Madman. We'll be back after these commercial break, and we'll play some more music for you guys. Call in, motherfuckers.
Represent the truth and the American way. But I'll be bleeding you dry till I put it in the toilet again. I'm the president and I've been sent to represent you. Now I'm in charge, but what I told you was false. I'll put your ass on hold and I won't be taking your call. 'Cause I represent you. It's why you voted for me. I aim with the dime on the crime of the century. I'm the president and I'm intended to represent you. I'm the president and I'm intended to represent the truth. I'm the president and I'm intended to represent all of us. I'm the president and in the end I represent me. I'm running out of time. Destruction on my mind. I'm the president and I've been sent to represent you. I'm the president and I've been sent to represent the truth. I'm the president and I've been sent to represent all of us. I'm the president and in the end I represent me.
Hey, is there Ryan? Hey, is there a song we're gonna come? Is there a song you want to come back with? Is there a song you want to come back with from the album, or even if it's from one of the other albums, the previous albums?
Haunted House Film Star. Dutchie, you got that one from the first album?
Yeah, I got it.
All right, cool.
That one, right? You got about 3 minutes.
What's up, brother? You say something?
Oh, you got about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Hi, we're the Briefs, and you're listening to the Black Lung Show on Chaotic Radio.
The screws are coming loose in my head. Feels like my brain is shutting down. Wake up. Feels like the screws are coming loose in my head. Feels like the brain is shutting down. Nobody left in this house but me, but it feels like the summer in the can't see. There's a whole lot going on in my haunted house. From the beginning to the end of the oven nose, there's a buzz and wind, but the doors are closed. There's a whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. A whole lot going on in my haunted house. The doorbell rings, but there's nobody there. There's a shadow of a woman walking down my stairs. A noise in the attic that keeps me awake at night. The lights keep flickering off and on. There's an outline on the wall where a door once was. It's a passage to the basement that I never knew about. Now the spirits want me to play hide and seek, but the ghost in the dark keeps calling me. There's a whole lot going on in my haunted house. There's a place in my house that's quiet and safe, but full of ones that don't wanna meet their creator. There's a whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. A whole lot going on. A whole lot going on in my haunted house. And the eyes in the portrait are following me, and they're staring at the people that I can't see. There's a whole lot going on in my haunted house. And I think I'll be here for a long, long time. There's a face in the mirror, doesn't look like mine. There's a whole lot going on. 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 Feels like the screws are coming loose in my head. Feels like my brain keeps shutting down. Feels like the screws are coming loose in my head. Feels like my brain is shutting
chaoticradio.com. You're listening to the Black Lung Show. Ryan Pena, Dutchy,
And Professor the Madman.
Fuck yeah, now what a band in the studio.
Man, I'm having a great time. It's what I love doing this show for. So before we went into the break, we were talking about vinyl, right? So I got a cool story about that. Besides the vinyl that I found today, right? You know, everybody knows Chuck Berry and all that stuff. So I'm not going to spin that one. And everybody knows Dick Dale. You know, if you don't watch Pulp Fiction, I'm joking. But one of the things that I'm a big fan of, and Dutch and I have been talking about this. I wish it would come back. I'm a huge fan of compilation albums. I've always been a big fan, huge fan, because you just buy one album and you listen to all these different bands and you might become a fan of somebody you've never heard of. I love discovering new music. I don't care. Like I was telling the guys, is that while I was growing up and playing music and being influenced by the Ramones and the Addicts and the Dead Boys and all these great bands. I could go back and discover new stuff. And so one of the ways I would do that would be like with compilations, especially like Rodney on the Rock, right? Yeah. First time I ever heard The Crowd, Channel 3. That's how I discovered them. You know, the Clan. Even though that sounds bad, you know, it's not that Clan, fuckers.
Bullshit, you racist bastard.
No, dude, speaking of which, hey, I just found out.
You're Mexican.
My wife, dude, she did that Ancestry.com shit. She's white. She's 55% Native American, dude. Fuck yeah. Wow. So hopefully somebody needs to fucking pay us. I'm kidding. We don't give a shit about the money. But anyway, that's a weird thing. But anyway, I'm digressing. So we talk about Dr. Strange, the greatest rock and roll record store down the street here from the studio, right? So one of the albums that I picked up years and years ago was a compilation called Hell Comes to Your House. Do you guys remember that?
Fantastic one. Oh,
right?
Absolutely. I was at the recording session that Christian Death did for that. Yeah, I was 12 years old.
Holy shit. That's
this
awesome.
fucker's got more stories than we can ask questions, I'm telling you.
That's what we need to do. We're going to have to, these guys
His fucking family, we should just forget inviting a band on. Right, Alfie, can you just invite your family on?
That's right.
We could have a family day at Chaotic Radio. That'd be rad.
What band's on? It's not a band, it's the Agnew family.
Exactly. No, that would be great. So anyway, with that album, right, that was the very first time I had heard 45 Grave. And I became a huge 45 Grave fan after that. Oh, yeah. I got to play with them, one time. Again, I was nerding out. But recently, and I did not know this album existed. I just picked this up, Dutchie, the very first time. You know how you go into Doctor Strange and on the wall they've got like the good albums.
What's it called?
Hell Comes to Your House. It's a compilation. I just saw this.
Fantastic. Social Distortion on it as well.
Yeah, Social Distortion. They had the Creeps on there, and look at this, dude. I just bought this Dutchie right off the wall. Hell Comes to Your House Part 2. I didn't know this album existed. I saw this on the wall. I was like, dude, I gotta have this fucking record. So. You guys tell me, who do you guys remember from this? Because this is, I know some of you younger guys, are listening to this going, who the fuck are they talking about? A lot of these bands are, 80s bands. The Joneses, the Mau Maus, Tex and the Whoreheads, obviously the Minutemen. Do you want to take a look at it?
Yeah. Do you want one of the stupidest questions, and I asked this question.
Go ahead.
To Alfie, and I realized afterwards, it was in the Agnew. He was in the Agnew household, right? How old were you when Rick, who's the first person in your family that started to be or was big time and famous? And was it Rick?
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So how old were you when that happened?
Oh gosh, probably. I would say around 12. That's when the Adolescence Blue album came out. That's, Christian Death was happening then. Rick was really...
And your big fucking brothers up on stage, right?
Yeah.
So unlike me and Ryan, who were just like fans of music, you were in a family of a guy who's getting up on stage, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so the influence was 20 times, 100 times more for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And they were the kind of older brothers that would like take you along. They weren't trying to ditch the snotty nosed little brother. They actually, I was like a mascot.
And then on top of that, so if he took you along, now you must be hanging out with all these fucking punk superstars.
Yeah.
And this is at the beginning of punk, right?
That's absolutely right. Yep.
So how fucking crazy was that for you? I mean, what do you remember about that?
Oh, I was so young, so I didn't really know what was going on. It was all just kind of crazy, and they all seemed so old and cool, right? And
old at 22, you cunt.
Exactly. And it was always a little bit of every single night was an adventure. We'd, most of the places had some sort of age limit, but the adolescents were pretty much the toast of the town, so they knew all the bouncers, etc. So they'd sneak me, in through the back door at places.
Did they have to sneak you in, or did they just say "fuck off"? This is my brother.
They had to. Kind of half and half. They had to sneak me in. You couldn't take me through the front door. That's for sure. That wasn't going to happen. But
he's a roadie
through the back door, basically. They'd have the big beefcake at the back door to make sure no one sneaked in. Without paying. But the promoter wasn't there, and so the bouncers were just friends with the bands because they played there so often. So, oh, hey, is our little brother Alfie? Let him in. Okay, no one's looking. Go, hurry, And sometimes I'd get booted out and, have to wait outside.
So it's a really stupid question, even asking you what's your influences.
Yeah.
Or not. I don't know.
No, the influences go far back before that era, but certainly, adolescence.
Before that era,
TSOL.
what was before that era for you? I mean, you're 12 years old, so what
Yeah.
year are we talking about? When you were born? What year?
I was born in 1969. So I started noticing, I started forming memories and whatnot, say 74. And
So what were your influences then?
Oh gosh.
Before Big Brother?
Well, it was basically
I
the
thought
stuff
you
that
were
Rick
going to
was
say
listening
fucking
to.
Bay City Rollers. I was going
Oh,
to kick
God,
you
no.
out of the fucking station.
No, luckily I was never allowed to gravitate toward the bubblegum stuff, because again, they were very inclusive kind of brothers. They're like, hey, little Alfie, come in here, check out this Song Remains the Same album that came out, or check out, this new Queen album, or check out this, Brain Salad Surgery from ELP, or check out this album Funhouse by Iggy, so they were turning me on to stuff really early. They're like that, actually. Both Frank and Rick were always turning me on to stuff. So I only knew cool stuff in a sense.
A lot of those bands you said are not cool. They're fucking horrible.
Well, in 74 they were kind of edgy. But
ELP. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. All right, kick him out.
I still like them. I'm ashamed to say, but I like them.
Don't be ashamed just because I don't like him.
Dutchie doesn't like a whole lot of shit. Like I just found out he's not a fan of toy dolls, and I'm a huge toy dolls fan.
There you
go.
go.
So everyone's got their different influences. In fact, we were talking about that the other day. It's weird, man. And that's what I was talking about, the whole sheep thing. Like what you like, and don't give a fuck what anyone else says. We were on the way to a show, and I found out my guitar player doesn't like David Bowie. I'm like, wow. I didn't think anybody could do that, right?
Only person I've ever heard of.
Yeah, and then I posted something else too. I was trying to think of a question to post on Facebook to try to get some unity, and I was like, there's always been this whole big giant discussion of like the Beatles or the Stones, right? Mm-hmm. Or you could throw in Led Zeppelin in there too. And when somebody likes one band, I was trying to think of somebody that I think that everybody would like, and I posted up, all right, dude, who the fuck doesn't like Johnny Cash? I didn't think there could be one. Nope, there's people that don't like Johnny Cash. I can't fucking believe it. But anyway.
I happen to be one of them.
Really? Yeah. Really?
Oh, fuck it. Kick them both out. Me and you would just play music, dude.
How dare you, sir, on my show? How dare you? God damn it. All right. Well.
He was awesome in Columbo.
Columbo.
He was in Columbo.
This is where the conversation's
1974. Johnny Cash was the guest star on Columbo.
I'll have to research that fucking...
I'll have to watch that now.
Because I love Columbo.
Either 73 or 74.
Let's YouTube it and watch the episode together.
We should. All right. So, hey, going back to another question. When I was saying about the whole nerding out thing, do you guys do that at all? I mean, is there... Let's play this game. Let's pretend Ryan is the promoter, and you guys say, Ryan, I want to play with this band. What would be the band that you haven't played with that you would be like a dream band? You know what I mean? The one gig that you would actually just be stoked on. What would be the band that you've never played with that you would just absolutely love to go on stage with? I'm curious.
For me, it'd be The Damned. Yeah, I mean,
you never played The Damned?
I haven't. No, he has. I haven't. Yeah.
And for me, Alice Cooper.
Nice.
If we could open for Alice Cooper, that'd be huge.
That would be great.
Now, are we in agreement with that, Dutchie? Are you cool?
Fuck yeah. You know what? I
cool.
just bought tickets for Alice Cooper at the Greek.
Did you?
Yeah.
I saw them. I actually saw... I've always been a huge Alice Cooper fan, and I finally saw him for the very first time last year, and I paid fucking $80, which is obnoxious. But he put on a hell of a show, so I couldn't.
Was that the casino?
It was at a casino down.
I was at that.
Were you out there?
Yeah.
Agua Caliente or something?
Juarez?
Oh no, I was out way down
Paris?
in the desert. But
my wife and I went and saw it back in November of last year.
Oh, okay.
2 years ago, actually.
Yeah,
So-
that would be awesome.
So, Dutchie, then are you a Hollywood Vampires fan?
I don't know Hollywood Vampires.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, isn't that a band with some superstar part of them?
Yeah, I mean, so what is it? Alice Cooper, Joe Perry, and the actor
Johnny Depp.
Yes,
Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah.
That's right. That's when I'm, someone who's not when I say a musician, but yeah. So I don't know. I've never listened to him. I'm a music fan, and I'm not afraid to say I love or fucking hate that particular band, even if they're sitting right in front of me. Right? No, I say that.
That's fair.
Come on, we gotta be fair, right? I may love you as a person, but doesn't mean to say I like your music. You may play music that I hate, you know? I fucking, yeah, I love Alice Cooper. I loved because I think, you tell me, I mean, you grew up in the Agnew family. Sean, you grew up at the same time, right? Yeah. So when punk disappeared, and I say that, it disappeared where I was. I don't know what happened here. But in 83, punk disappeared, right? And I started listening to Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue. And
okay, now you got to get out.
I got a free pass. Right? But what were you all listening to? And then when we came back strong, right? Because I know that the Adolescents, and I know that all those punk bands from Orange County, but were going strong then. I think that's probably one of the strongest times. But I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, that's, over here, it was pretty much underway through 1986. So there was still a few years when it died out in 83 for you. There were still cool bands putting out records. DI was putting out really cool stuff at that time.
Yeah.
Even the Joe Wood TSOL was around that time.
But who was buying it and who was listening to it? I know they were doing it, but were they doing it because it was just fun for them, or were there people interested?
Oh, it was huge. I mean, so I would say, the kind of the biggest or the first heyday for DI anyways was probably, 83 through, 87 and even after. So at that time, kind of, what it was? Punk seemed to evolve a bit earlier over in Britain.
Because we're quicker, we're more involved.
Yeah.
Even though the Ramones and
setting them up,
it started. It started in America. Punk started in America.
It did.
And no one can argue with that.
That's true.
Right, but we were just more intelligent and took it to the next extreme.
Yeah, the Southern California scene, though, it's like after the really early fun kind of experimental phase in L.A. and in Orange County, the hardcore thing kind of started setting in, and bands like DI who were really high energy, still probably by today's standards, not necessarily that thrash. We weren't thrash at all. But really high energy. The live shows were full of energy, massive pits, stage dives left and right, etc. And when you compare that to, for example,
you were in that band at that time. Were you part of that?
Absolutely, yeah. No, this is Fender's Ballroom would fill up.
See, I mean that fucking blows me away. You have no fucking idea how excited I get when you tell shit like this. All right, shut the fuck up. Carry on.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was really peaking, and that's when DI really became a headliner. And we were selling a lot of records, and not too long after that, the Adolescents came back together and did the Brats and Battalions album. I did that with that was kind of the second album, and there was a lot of interest there. So yeah, I would say the '80s were just crazy, and there was the shows would fill up and be way full of energy. It was probably much bigger than the '70s, I would say.
Weird because like I said, for me, it was the opposite. I had nowhere to go. I had nowhere to go and see punk bands. And,
what a bummer.
And it.
Then the dark side.
Yeah.
Motley Crue.
Oh, fuck off. and you got.
Bango Tango.
Shut the fuck up! I'm turning my mic off.
Said Bango Tango.
Front row, Bango Tango.
Ryan, what the fuck were you doing? You were only 10, 8 years old, 9 years old.
Well,
85. How old were you in 85?
85, I was.
He has to think about
I
it.
do. 7. Yeah, I was born in 77.
Wow.
So,
you're a punk rock child.
Yeah, I was. Well, I will say this. I mean, I love the 80s. That 80s was the best time for it. But when I grew up is when the punk explosion happened in the 90s. Yeah. Because that's when all of a sudden it became mainstream, which kind of, I think it was kind of a detriment, at the same time. Then all of a sudden, I mean, it was cool when Fear went on Saturday Night Live and fucked everything up, and everyone's like, whoa, holy shit. But then all of a sudden now, in the 90s, now you've got, Rancid on Saturday Night Live. And you talk about DI. I mean, I still got the footage from, I was at Punk Show '95 in San Bernardino when the whole thing turned into fucking crazy riot. And I remember being there in the pit when DI was playing, and Johnny's Got a Problem comes on, and the whole fucking place goes absolutely ape shit. And the '90s blew up, and then it kind of tapered off. But now it's actually funny because now it's insane because it seems to me like the scene is come back very, very strong, with one detriment to that. The all ages shows are gone. There's nowhere to play that's all ages. Like right now, if you look around, when I was talking about the JFA show, and that's another great band. I want to get them in the studio, man. I love JFA. They fucking killed it. So I was at the JFA show, and then 20 minutes away, the Dickies were playing in Colton. Again, still for anybody listening or play that show, fuck pay to play. That's why we didn't do it. I'm sick of that shit. You're killing it for the rest of us. But there's so many good shows. I mean, the Smut Peddlers are doing their 25th anniversary show at the Observatory. I mean, all these great bands are around nowadays. But the problem is that there's nowhere for the kids to go anymore. I mean, we used to have the Showcase Theater in Corona. There was
the kids are doing backyard parties.
Yeah,
right.
But you're gonna go to.
But isn't that the way? There was nowhere. I mean, I don't know because I wasn't there. That's who I was going to say. Yeah. You guys, you tell me when you were, that's not fucking fair. You got an Agnew in there. He was getting in backdoor passes, right? So, but Sean, both of you, you had that? You grew up in Southern California. Were you doing the backyard party shit? And you got to see all the bands anyway.
That's what it was. I mean, there was. I think after the Cuckoo's Nest, the Concert Factory, that was all ages because I played there in the first week of it opening, and I was only 13. So that was a place that allowed all ages, but everything else was all at least 18 and over, and for the majority, 21 and over. So it was always backyard parties. That's the only way we could play.
I'm going to say this. Bands. All ages shows, to me, suck. Keep the fucking kids away from me. No, I don't want to be in a place seeing bands with a bunch of fucking 10, 12-year-olds. I think there's a why?
Well, dude, if you got 10 and 12-year-olds, man, you're a fucked up parent. You know what I mean?
For 14, with the parents, see, if you got a 10-year-old, that means you're only a 30-year-old parent or a 28-year-old parent, right? So I don't want to be in a place with all those fucking kids. Fuck that shit. Keep them away from me.
I agree with you on that.
Good.
There was a place
because Ryan doesn't.
There was a place called Chain Reaction. I don't know if it's still there. It was
in Anaheim.
In Anaheim.
Yeah.
And that was all ages.
Yeah, they're still doing some shows, but I remember back, and this is another old thing too. Remember we used to have fanzines? Oh, yeah. I remember reading a full-page article in Scratch magazine where the owner of the club was actually saying, we can't have punk bands because the kids fuck it up. You guys are all drinking out in the parking lot and starting fights and fucking it all up for everybody. So they fucked up. So yeah, the kids suck, but at the same time,
no, they don't suck. But put them in a backyard or put them somewhere else. Don't put them in the place with adults who want to have an adult fucking time. Right?
Well, no. Why can't there be both? Because my childhood was
because they piss me off. I don't want fucking children when I'm trying to get away from children.
I'm not fucking saying we should have them in the bar, Dutchie. You know what I mean? But dude, when I was a kid, and when I was going to go see the Vandals and stuff, in the '90s, dude, at the Showcase Theater and watching all these great bands and playing with all these great bands, the Addicts and stuff like that. I mean, where else are the kids going to go? I mean, yeah, the backyard party's all right, man. But I remember playing backyard parties too, and especially in the IE, and the cops show up and they've got guns drawn out and they're like, we're gonna fucking steal your we're gonna confiscate your equipment. Fuck you. No, you're not. I don't want to play in a backyard. They would always turn into riots and stuff. I don't know. That was my experience, especially out here.
How old were you two guys when you got in your first band?
Oh, geez.
I was probably 11.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Yeah, pretty much the same. And the Cuckoo's Nest was my first gig, too, with a band called The
Shut the fuck. That was your first gig you ever played?
Yep.
Was the Cuckoo's Nest?
Wow.
Cuckoo's Nest, yeah.
You fucking superstar. 11 years old.
Yep.
With adult bands around you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I want to know every fucking detail right now. What bands did you play with?
Do you remember?
Yeah. The band I was in was called The Attack. It was the only show we ever played. So I was on drums, 11 years old, and then it was 2 Fullerton High School football players turned punk. So they were massive and vicious, you know. And then this hippie dude who's probably the only one who could really play well on guitar. And I wrote all the songs. The kid wrote all the songs, actually.
Wow.
It was pretty funny.
Why was it only one show? Were you that fucking useless?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. In fact, I think that was Jerry Roach's exact words. You know, I think he was laughing, but he was also saying, "Yeah, that was absolutely awful."
My girl's listening to the show, right? And she just said, "You know what? Where the kids should be at the fucking ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. Keep them the fuck out of the show."
Hey, speaking of which, Brenda, I want to say this. I did listen to the Molotov Cocktail Hour, and you know what, dude? You're a lucky man, Dutchie. She's not only is she cool as fuck, and I know her, you know, and so I want to promote her show. Dude, she just came in fucking flawless, man. Like she was born to do this. Like Dutchie the punk rock DJ and Brenda the punk rock DJ. She's really good. So guys got to check out her show as well. Anyway, dude, we got a half hour.
When is it?
When is the new show?
We don't have a set time right now. Just because exactly punk rock.
Yeah.
Just because of
it's like a Cracker Jack box, it's a mystery prize. You turn into chaoticradio.com, you might get the show.
No, we'll let you know. We'll definitely we may go live, but we'll definitely. This is the thing. We're going to set a time, an exact time. It may be the replay. It doesn't matter. But you know, she just got a new job. God bless. She got listen to this. Have you ever heard of this? This is punk rock as fuck to me. You're a bartender. Right, so you get a job with a company that does parties. So she jumps in a truck with the rest of them. They go to a party, open the side of the truck and serve drinks. You don't wait for people to come into your bar. You take your bar to those motherfuckers and they drink like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was her first night last night, and you know what, baby. God bless and go fucking do it. Tell everyone around you who doesn't do their shit, fuck off like you always do, and carry on doing what you're doing. And yes, a show is amazing. The diversity of the music.
Well then, there you go. So hey, we've got about a half hour left in the show, a little bit less. I do have to get going because I got. We're not doing the show again. So remember, I was telling you, we're going to replay the show next Sunday. I will be in Connecticut. I'm going to tell you why real quick. It's a crazy story, which is going to lead me into the question about lyrics with you guys. Are you guys horror movie fans?
I certainly am, yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I am a lucky guy, too. As we're talking about Dutchie right now, having a great and beautiful girlfriend, my wife's fucking amazing. I love my wife to death. We just celebrated our 9-year wedding anniversary. And this is how weird we are. Like I found someone stupid enough to marry me in the first place, but we got married on Friday the 13th at the Chapel of Elvis in Las Vegas, and so we have a weird life. And so this is actually my wife's idea. We're flying to Connecticut. I'm flying to Sacramento for work tomorrow, but when I get back, we're flying to Connecticut to go see the actual Annabelle doll, the Warrens, Lorraine Warren. We're gonna go to like a dinner and talk about demonic. They're gonna go through like all their whole demonic possession stuff. We're actually gonna go see the real Annabelle doll. That's what my wife likes to do, and so I'm a lucky man because I love horror movies, and so I know that some of your music is kind of inspired by that. We'll come back to that, Dutchie. We still got to promote this, man. Disintegrate Me, this fucking great new album. Yeah. You just said it, dude, and here's the segue right there, dude. It's fun doing the show with Dutchie because everybody, and especially for punks, we love motherfuckers with a British accent. He's always got that on me, man. I can't be cool in this motherfucker because he's British and he always says fuck off. That's it.
And it is a trouble. I've been here so long, I'm doing it in an American accent now. I should go back to my old stuff. Fuck off.
That's your American accent?
Well, no. The trouble is, I've been here so long that now I sound different.
No, you don't.
So, yeah, I do.
Do you really?
I go back to my English way, it's like, hello, boys, all right, what's going on?
Was that Cockney or
professor and a fucking man in a fucking studio? And we've got something from the new album, Disintegrate.
That's brilliant.
All right.
It's fucking right, though, mate, isn't it? Don't fucking laugh at me.
But we love you, man.
I know you do, yeah.
And one of my favorite ones that you always say too, this fucking band's useless. Let's play Useless by the Professor and the Madman from the album Disintegrate Me. You're listening to the Black Lung Show live on chaoticradio.com.
I've got unmatching socks, so people think I got rocks in my head, and no one wants to talk to me. 'Cause so many people have to wasting their time to spend their life chasing nickels and dimes. It's not important to me, but I'm so glad to see I did it my way. Why'd it take so long to brighten my day? Why you gotta make me wait so long? Why you gotta make me wait so long? I've got unrealistic thoughts. Maybe I just got too much time on my hands. Still no one wants to talk to me. And I can't shake the feeling that everything would have been fine if we just had a little more time. Is it a ghost that I see? Or maybe it's just me doing things my way. But why'd it take so long to brighten my day? Why'd you gotta make me wait so long? Why'd you gotta make me act so strong? I don't wanna be watching this world on my TV. Do you think I'm deaf, dumb, and blind? Or do you think I'm just stupid? And I watch the war and all the horror on my TV. It was all made by design just to make me feel useless. Yeah, it makes me feel useless.
This is a day of national consecration. And I insist that on this day, my fellow Americans expect that on my induction into the presidency, I will address them with a candor and a decision which the present situation of our people entails with a clear surprise.
I'm so glad to see I did it my way. But why'd it take so long to brighten my day? Why'd you gotta make me wait so long? Why'd you gotta make me act so strong? I don't wanna be watching this world on my TV. Do you think I'm deaf, dumb, and blind? Or do you think I'm just stupid? And I watch the war and all the horror on my TV. It was all made by design just to make me feel useless. Yeah, it makes me feel useless. I guess I'm just useless.
There's bad radio, good radio, and chaotic radio. In that order.
I've got some bad news for us Americans. They say they're all allies, but they're not our friends. We need to stand up tall and make some changes before it's too late. We need a born leader with the brains and a plan. Somebody that's strong and people, I'm your man. I've got a program to bring us back again and stop the hate. It won't take long. I don't care if it's right or wrong, and we won't have enemies anymore when I drop my peace bomb. just a peace sign painted on some old warhead. 33 minutes and the problem ends. Gonna wipe them clean off the face of the earth, and that's that. And you might not like what I'm about to do, but if you protest me, I'll drop a peace bomb on you. Because we can't have peace without strength, my friends, and that's a fact. And it won't take long. I don't care if it's right or wrong. We won't have enemies anymore. I'll drop my peace bombs. And it won't take long. I don't care if it's right or wrong. And we won't have enemies anymore. When I drop my peace bombs, we won't have enemies anymore. When I drop my peace bombs, my peace bombs.
Hi, this is John Easdale from Drum Rum and the Reckless Drifters, and you're listening to the Black Lung Show on chaoticradio.com.
Always the same thing, just a different place. Causes me to hide away, time and time again. And the one thing that puzzles me is why it's so important to you. You're forcing me to be who I don't wanna be. Wish I could find a way to get back to the days when my world seemed so much clearer. But now I'm just trapped in this place where my only friend is the sad face in the mirror. Is there a space for me? Or am I just killing time? 'Cause I could see the hate in their eyes when they look back at me. Try to deal with the cruel things, the voices echoing through my head, and I can't tune them out. Wish I could find a place where the world was kind and treats everyone the same. But still I remain
Professor and the Madman. Fuck, dude. I love this album, man. Good stuff, man. You guys got to pick this shit up. So we've been talking, and so here's from musician to musician. I'm finally going to play something of my band. Dutchie, can I play a couple songs real quick?
You're in charge, brother. You know that.
Well,
unless I tell you no. Of course you can, my man.
Well, the thing is, man, like I said, like I don't,
don't play nothing shit though.
Well,
that's the only rule.
I want to see what they say. And like, I don't care if you guys like it or not. We're talking about that, in between the break, certain bands that we like and certain bands we don't like.
Hey, Dutchie.
Yeah.
I told him I don't like the Sex Pistols.
You can tell him that, but you know you're lying.
I don't.
I've never known anyone who truly doesn't like him. And if you don't, that's because you're American. You don't appreciate really. That's because you got issues. You need to go see a doctor.
So, hey, all right. So I want to play.
I wish. I'm never going to do this again. I'm not engineering a show from here. I'm going to sit next to you.
You should.
That way I can punch that fucker.
All right. So my band, Something Ferocious, we finally recorded our EP because we had the whole punk rock thing. I wouldn't say punk rock, the band thing where we've gone through members and now we've got a good lineup. And so I want to play like a faster rock and roll song and then another song where we'll play this song, and that's why I'm going to lead it into it. We'll play the fast song and then the slow song. And then like when we were playing with the, all these hardcore punk bands, these thrash punk bands, the first song goes over really well. They're like, yeah, kind of like this the album, right? Right, with Nightmare, right? You hear that and you're like, all right, yeah, this is fucking California punk rock. And then we play the slower song. Dutchie, do you have Something Ferocious on the board?
No, not right now, but I'll look for it.
It should still be up there on the board. I think whoever was filling in for me last time. The first song I want to play is called Reckless, and we wrote that about skating because a lot of the guys, we're big skaters in the 80s, and my band still skates. Cool. Some of them anyway, in their fucking 40s. They just, God bless them, man.
How about Dan Colburn?
Yeah,
from Adolescence, his 50s, he's still winning awards out there.
That's a cool thing too, because our friends too, like Salba, playing in Power Flex 5. He's still in his 50s and still skating. I love that guy, always doing that stuff. You find it yet, Dutchie? No.
Only reason I'm struggling is because I don't know how to spell ferocious.
That's always been the hard thing. So
P-H-E.
Fuck off.
F-E-R-O-C-I-O-U-S.
Oh, that I get.
Is
your music on iTunes?
No. What?
Then I'm not going to find it.
It's on the board, man. I swear to God. We put it up there. If you go to the Black Lung Show thing.
All right, let me have a look. Something Ferocious.
In the meantime, what does Professor the Madman have coming up as far as upcoming gigs? What do you guys have some stuff booked up?
The only thing we have booked right now is we're playing with the Pushers.
Fuck. So, Spencer from Shattered Fates band, right?
Is he in the Pushers?
Yeah, I think so.
That.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool. Switch Spencer from
even better. I love Spencer.
Yeah, he's in the band. Cause we had Shattered Faith here in studio, and he gave me one of the records, and I was like, "Oh shit, you're in the Pushers." I didn't know that either. That's what I was saying. We discover all this stuff. Where are you guys playing with the Pushers at?
Gallagher's.
Yeah, as I say, it's one of those.
It's in places, Gallagher's, and I don't know when.
Fair enough.
What month?
It's in June. July, June. I'm trying to look it up right now.
You're gonna have to just Google that shit. You'll find it. Any luck, Dutchie?
No, I don't have your music.
God
You're
damn
not
it.
big enough yet. You're just a little minor band.
You son of a bitch.
No, it's not that. Come on, don't.
It was
blame,
on the. It was
don't
on,
fucking blame
it's on the
me,
board, man. I swear to God.
Cunt. It's not on my board.
It was there.
Because I tell you why. It's because I got rid of the shit on my board.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
No, I didn't. Come on, you're not on my board. the only
If
bands
you
I've
go
got
in
on
there
my
and
board
find it, we'll handle the show.
is.
Chaotic Radio. Live.
You have vinyl? Do you have any vinyl?
No, we don't have any vinyl, man. I told you
What
we're
the
not.
fuck? What kind of band are you?
Okay, Saturday, June 9th.
That's
so
what
we're
I'm talking
playing
about.
at Gallagher's Pub and Grill. Because
In
you also want to
Huntington
play a
Beach.
place that says grill on it.
It's great. You know what?
Gallagher's Pub and Hot Wings. It's got a good ring to it.
Downtown, HB.
Yep. 300 Pacific Coast Highway.
Love it.
Huntington Beach.
Fucking great. It's great playing there.
We're looking forward to it.
That when you play live, it's a different show. It's different because you've got different people in the band, right?
Yep.
Is there a problem with any of them going, I'm just being used for live shows? They're using superstars for their recordings.
I don't think so. I mean, they haven't said anything.
Well, if they do, then if they don't say anything, then I'm going to take it the same as you. Right? But everyone who's in the band playing the live show is friends, family, and good people, right? And they know exactly. They know the story anyway, right?
Absolutely, yeah. They're really into it. I mean, Frank, for example, every time I come across him, he's stoked. He has new ideas. Hey, we should try to throw this. I got this new guitar. We should throw this in there for the live show. He's actually really excited about it. And Mark and Nick as well. I think they're actually really stoked to be a part of it.
And actually, the first rendition of Professor and the Madman was to have Alfie and I play everything anyway. We didn't want a full band in the recording studio or in the writing process. So it kind of is what it is.
You built it up, didn't you, gradually?
Yeah, we did.
What was the idea and why?
It was, Alf and I just wanted to do something different from what was out there. We've been pretty pigeonholed in the punk rock scene for a long time. And we just wanted to do an album the way we would do it. We've always had to listen to somebody else.
That was the first album?
That was all of them.
It's what amazes me the most about this band is the diversity of the music.
Yeah.
And
see, some people might not be too open to that. Do you know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong.
A whole band, you start arguing.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that. It's too pussy. Don't put that on the album. And I don't want to do this. And everyone
I'm
starts
lucky.
arguing.
I'm a DJ. When I get to your pussy tracks, I just fucking go past.
That's exactly right.
Right? But your punk tracks I love. Right? I'm a punk. I don't fucking like Yes. I don't like,
Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Fuck off.
Bay City Rollers.
I love the Bay City Rollers, but you can't because you're too good a band.
Here you go, Dutchie. I'm playing it on my fucking phone. This is called Shortcut to Nowhere. Some Ferocious.
Sometimes you gotta slow down, or you're gonna burn out. Got the candle lit at both ends, following your so-called friends. Keep trying to drown your demons, but those motherfuckers learn to swim. Keep trying to find a reason you're on a shortcut to nowhere. Sometimes you gotta speed up. Whoa, yo, gonna throw up. Got the needle pushing to the red, following your so-called friends. Keep trying to drown your demons, but those motherfuckers learn to swim. Keep trying to find a reason you're on a shortcut to nowhere. I'm the demon in your head. I'm the
that was our slow song, and that's what I'm saying. Playing some different stuff. Here's a little bit.
Who was that? What band?
Something ferocious. This one's called Reckless. That's me, brother. Me.
Reckless, I feel no one. Got all my friends who love me for. Reckless, I feel no one. Steering the barrel of a loaded gun. Reckless, reckless, reckless. I've got no regrets. I learned to forget. I've got rock and roll amnesia. I'm a fan of bad decisions. Don't need no rhyme or reason. Reckless, I feel no one. All my friends who are having fun. Reckless, I feel no one. Steering the barrel of a loaded gun. Reckless, 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 reckless. Reckless, I feel no one. Got all my friends who are having fun. Reckless, I feel no one. Steering the barrel of a loaded gun. Reckless, 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 reckless.
So there you go. That's Something Ferocious. We just recorded that. The Reckless EP is coming out. Eddie Casillas from the Voted Glow Skulls, his studio, Dog Run Studio, recorded that for us. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't
That's
like
great,
saying
man.
Thank you.
That's great. Yeah.
I appreciate that. I would love to play some shows with you guys. We can do something with chaoticradio.com. I want you guys to be fucking successful as shit, right? That's my whole goal for all of us, right? It's a community. This is what we do, right? You know, you ever seen that movie, the what is it, Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny and all that bullshit where they got the pick and they became fucking famous or something like that? Did you guys see that nonsense?
I didn't see it. No.
No, you never saw it? That's all right. Well, shit, that just ruined this whole bit.
Whoops.
Oh yeah,
It was awesome. Yes, it's exactly like that.
Well, the reason is why is because I got you guys the fucking Pick of Destiny. Don't ask like the fucking the Black Lung Show does not
look at
deliver.
that.
The fucking Pick of Destiny from Tenacious D,
Nice.
the movie.
Nice.
Shit.
Now you're gonna be famous. Here you
That's
go.
rad.
I got
Thank
one for
you,
all you
brother.
All
guys.
right, thank you.
Hey, no, thank you. Look, check it out.
That is awesome.
The band brought in T-shirts for all of us. Professor the Madman. They brought in signed albums for us. We got to have you guys back in studio. We're running really short on time because we have another show coming on. Thank you guys so much. You guys
Thank you for having us, man.
Oh, dude, it's been
Fantastic
fun,
to be
man.
here.
You guys have anything else you guys want to plug or say, or any shout outs you guys want before we get out of here?
No, that's it, man.
Just
Well,
check
you know,
out our stuff, man. Check out
Don't
our
worry, Dutch. I
records.
got you a Pick of Destiny too. So this
Oh
way,
man, I don't give a fuck about that. I just, you know what?
I just don't want you to suck anymore. I'm just trying to help you out.
Knowing these people is a fucking pleasure. I get to choose the last song. I love the name of it, Demented Love Song.
You've been listening to the Black Lung Show live on
Country.
chaoticradio.com. I do like Johnny Cash though.
I talk about you on my blog and tell the world how great you are. And you're my whole reason to live. Sneak through your gate and take your dog. Bring it back safe and sound so I can look like your hero. It's A, B, C, D,